Alrighty, today we're going to learn how to make summary annotations. Please follow along as I annotate this paragraph. Alrighty, so just a key thing, when I'm making summary annotations, I'm looking for key details such as who, what, when, where, why, and how. Alrighty, those are the key details that I'm going to be looking for as I read this paragraph. Alrighty, let's get started. So I'm going to start reading this first sentence here. The Erie Canal, an important waterway in New York, was constructed to connect the Hudson River with Lake Erie, facilitating trade and transportation. Alrighty, I'm going to pause there. So I see right here, Erie Canal, an important waterway. That's an important detail, and that kind of explains what the Erie Canal is. So I'm going to make that a what detail. So I'm going to write what, and I'm going to write Erie Canal, and that's a waterway. You don't have to highlight I am. This is just to kind of show you how I'm labeling these details. One thing I want you guys to pay attention to is that when I label the detail, I'm saying what kind of detail it is. So you're going to see how I'm going to label the who, what, when, where, why, and how, etc. All right, let's look at the next example. In the same sentence, I also see that it's mentioning that the Erie Canal is in New York and it connects the Hudson River with Lake Erie. That is a where. Oops. Here we go. We have New York, Hudson River, Lake Erie. So now I'm going to write where and I'm going to write New York connects Hudson River with Lake Erie. Alrighty, now I'm going to keep moving on. The project began in 1817 and was completed in 1825, and it's significantly altering the landscape of commerce in the United States. Okay, the 1817 and the 1825, that is going to be a when detail. That is telling me when something happened. Remember, when could be a date, time, or anything. So I'm going to write when, and I'm going to write started being built in 1817, completed 1825. Alrighty, okay, let's keep moving on. Governor DeWitt Clinton was a key proponent of the canal, believing it would stimulate economic growth and open up the interior of the country for settlement and trade. Oh, I'm going to pause there. Governor DeWitt Clinton. If I look at my details, that's a person, so that's going to be a who detail. Governor DeWitt Clinton. So I'm going to write who. Governor DeWitt Clinton. And I'm not just going to write just write his name. I'm also going to say like what he did. That's going to give me important context for later. And I'm going to say supported the project. Alrighty. Okay, so now you can kind of tell that you can see how I've labeled all my details here. So before I even write what the key detail is, I'm writing what kind of key detail it is. So I'm not just writing that Erie Canal was a waterway, I'm labeled the what. For New York connects Hudson River with Lake Erie, I wrote where. This is going to help me understand what I'm looking at when I go through my annotations. Remember, your annotations kind of allow you to be able to not have to completely reread the text over again, okay? It's almost like you're creating a little cheat sheet for yourself. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. So, in that same sentence here, so Governor DeWitt Clinton was a key proponent of the canal, believing it would stimulate the economic growth and open up the interior of the country for settlement and trade. This is a really tricky one, but so he believed that it would help the economy grow. So that's going to be a motivation. That's the reason why he wants to do that. So I'm going to label that as a why detail. Stimulate economic growth up the interior of the country for settlement and trade. Alrighty, let's label that detail. So I'm going to write why. And I'm going to kind of summarize this, make this a little bit more concise for my notes. And I'm going to write believed it would help grow the economy. Alrighty. Why, just to give some more perspective for that, why is always a reason why someone wants to do something, why something happens. It's a reason, okay? Let's keep moving on. This ambitious construction involved digging a 363-mile-long canal using both manual labor and innovative engineering techniques, such as the use of locks to raise and lower boats over different elevations. Interesting. So this is kind of telling me how it was built. So I'm going to label this a how. So how did they build it? They built it using manual labor and innovative engineering techniques. Okay. They use manual labor and innovative engineering techniques. Alrighty, so let's label that. So I'm going to label that as a how. How is the method in which something happens. So I'm summarizing this in my own words. I'm not writing this word for word because one, that's saving me time. I'm making it much more concise. And also, if I write it in my own words, that means I actually understand the material. So I'm writing dug 363-mile canal and used new machines. Those are some of the machines that we talked about when we were talking about the Industrial Revolution. Okay, let's keep reading. The Erie Canal not only made it easier to transport goods, but it also helped New York City become a leading trade center, demonstrating the power of infrastructure in shaping economic and social development. Interesting. Okay, so this sentence, in my own words, is about how New York became a leading trade center. Kind of how, we know New York is like the number one city in the US today. And that is because it became such a big trading center due to the Erie Canal. So this is a tricky one. But this is also another how. I'll pick a different color here. Alrighty. So I'm also going to write how. Now, I don't have as much room right here, so I'm going to write it right here. How, okay? New York became a major trading city because of the Erie Canal. Oops, I labeled that the wrong color here. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. So now that I am done annotating this paragraph, you can see how I looked for those key details: who, what, when, where, why, and how. I labeled them on the side. I specifically said what detail I found. And in addition, I summarized each annotation in my own words. That is how I want you to try that. Now, you didn't have to annotate this on your notes, but please make sure that you're listing the teacher's actions and thoughts. What was I doing as I moved through this example? Alrighty, have a nice day.